Hey, good morning. Today the word comes from Mark 5. I opened it up to Mark 5:19. That's howbeit Jesus suffered him not, but saith unto him, Go home to thy friends, and tell them how great things the Lord hath done for thee, and hath had compassion on thee. We should totally celebrate our accomplishments, our spiritual accomplishments. We celebrate our physical, material accomplishments with everyone we know and love, right? We are so quick to jump online and just like, oh my gosh, you guys know what happened? So quick to share the good, the material gains and stuff. We do tend to always, most tend to sugarcoat the negative and totally, which, shoot, man, I find great solace in sugarcoating the negative as long as I can dress it up to make it look like it's, this is something that is going to benefit me in the long run, which, that's normally how it works, is all these negative things. A negative thing is actually a positive thing. It's just our perception that needs to change on it. What makes it negative? Well, we give it the meaning. So if we give it negative meaning, then yeah, it's going to be negative. You know what I mean? Even a punishment can be a good thing. So I guess this totally goes along with what's going on astrologically. Everybody has a bill, and everybody gets a receipt. Some pay early, some pay during, and some pay after. But don't worry, you'll get a receipt. You'll know exactly where you stand by the end of this. Like, it's happening for all of us. For all of us. Well, it normally comes to the house of God first. Actually, it does. Not normally. It does come to the house of God first. It's normally like that. The person that thinks it ain't coming to him comes to him last. It's like, oh man, I thought, look at all this. And they're all rejoicing and being so, that henpecking, nitpicking thing. Like, oh man, you guys all got it. And rah, 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 and then here's a smack for your ass too. That's so how it normally works. I used to be that guy, man. Like, oh man, y'all are all getting it. Trust me, here it is. And you're rah, 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 and rabble, 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 rabble. And straight up, shwam, like right behind you. That thing just sneak right up on me and just, man, it's worse than flashlight tag. So, we're in Mark chapter 5. And this even kind of goes with yesterday's scripture of the Song of Solomon. Resurrecting a little girl is what Christ is actually doing in chapter 5 in Mark. There's so much more to it though, but to pick this thing apart as a whole chapter would literally take a week. But we'll get through it, and if you guys want to expand upon things, we will totally, we'll just cut it up and we'll share it. So, and they came over unto the side of the sea, into the country of the Gadarenes, to the country of the Gadarenes. And when he was come out of the ship, immediately there met him out of the tombs a man with an unclean spirit, who had his dwelling among the tombs, and no man could bind him, no, not even with chains, because that he had been often bound with fetters and chains, and the chains had been plucked asunder by him, and the fetters broken in pieces, neither could any man tame him, and always night and day he was in the mountains, and in the tombs, crying and cutting himself with stones. But when he saw Jesus afar off, he ran and worshipped him, and cried with a loud voice, and said, What have I to do with thee, Jesus, thou Son of the Most High God? I adjure thee by God, and thou torment me not, that thou torment me not. For he said unto him, Come out of the man, thou unclean spirit. And he asked him, What is thy name? And he answered, saying, My name is... I'm totally not saying his name. Everybody knows the name here. I'm not announcing sigils. So, for we are many. And he besought him much that he would not send them away out of the country. Now there was there nigh unto the mountains a great herd of swine feeding. And all the devils besought him, saying, Send us into the swine, that we may enter into them. And forthwith Jesus gave them leave, and the unclean spirits went out, and entered into the swine. And the herd ran violently down a steep place into the sea. They were about 2,000, and were choked in the sea. And they that fed the swine, fled, and told it in the city and in the country. And they went out to see what it was that was done. And they that fed the swine fled. These are all things that occur within you. Most specifically, this happens, the whole Bible happens within us. And exteriorly it manifests due to the work we're doing internally. And they that fed the swine fled. Sounds like they're in Egypt. Spiritually, Egypt. But he's running things out of Israel. He's running things out. Casting things out of the body. They that fed the swine are lower carnal. It's the shadow man, you know, but it's more than that. It's more than that. It's just what that plays on. I'll have to meditate on this some more and get with the Father on what I can say and what I should not. Because we can say anything. It's just, what price are we willing to pay? You know, some things cost a lot. And they went out to see what it was that was done. And they come to Jesus and see him that was possessed with the devil, and had the many sitting and clothed. Oh man. They use the name again for the entity for the man at this point. And they come to Jesus and see him that was possessed with the devil, and had the many demons within him, sitting and clothed, and in his right mind, and they were afraid. And they that saw it told them how it befell to him that was possessed with the devil, and also concerning the swine. And they began to pray him to depart out of their coasts. And when he was come into the ship, he that had been possessed with the devil prayed him that he might be with him. Howbeit Jesus suffered him not, but saith unto him, Go home to thy friends, and tell them how great things the Lord hath done for thee, and hath had compassion on thee. This is like the one time that Christ was like, go tell people. A lot of the times he said, go your way and tell no one what you've seen and done here, what you've seen and witnessed here. This is like one of the few times that Christ says, go and tell what you've seen here. So there's something here that is really, especially, really deep. And he departed and began to publish in Decapolis how great things Jesus had done for him, and all men did marvel. And when Jesus was passed over again by ship unto the other side, much people gathered unto him, and he was nigh unto the sea. And behold, there cometh one of the rulers of the synagogue, Jairus by name. And when he saw him, he fell at his feet, and besought him greatly, saying, My little daughter lieth at the point of death. I pray thee, come and lay thy hands on her, that she may be healed, and she shall live. And Jesus went with him, and much people followed him, and thronged him. And a certain woman which had an issue of blood 12 years, and had suffered many things of many physicians, and had spent all that she had, and was nothing bettered, but rather grew worse. I swear we talked about this yesterday in the video. This seems to be like a reoccurring thing for this week for me. So I really got to just tear this apart. I really got to meditate again. I got to meditate on this spiritually, specifically. Father, what are you trying to tell me? What is it? What's the side note for me? When she had heard of Jesus, came in the press behind. Well, we'll just pick it back up at 26. And suffered many things of many physicians, and had spent all that she had, and was nothing bettered, but rather grew worse. When she had heard of Jesus, came in the press behind, and touched his garment. For she said,